Ching ching. Cheers. That London dry gin comes right through. Hey, how's it going? I'm Malia Christie. Mike Stojic is sitting this one out because I have a special guest here today, Ashby Brame. And of course, there's Dave Richards back there running around like a crazy person. So that makes three of us, which makes it a Revival 1869 social club. Today we're going to talk about gin martinis. And no one loved the gin martini more than Ava Gardner. So we'll have Ashby helping us with this and giving us some fun facts about Miss Ava Gardner, the sultry, sexy starlet that she was. And then we're gonna make some classic gin martinis, a couple different ways because there is no wrong way, it's however you like it. So, gin martinis. I'll just go into a little bit of history and backstory about it, and I'll have Ashby tell us, some fun stuff about Ava and how much she loved her gin and kind of all things boozy. But we are going to do the classic gin martini. It started, around the mid-1800s. Prohibition had a huge effect on that as well. But the martini has started out originally, it's this vermouth and gin love affair that kind of became a little more of a separation and practically divorce at one point. Originally, the gin martini was equal parts, so half vermouth, half gin, and that's a lot. That's a lot of vermouth. But when during Prohibition, gin was kind of something you'd make in your bathtub, perchance. You make gin in your bathtub?
Absolutely.
Yeah, every day. And I drink it, and I bathe in it.
It's good for both.
It's good. It just kills all the germs. It's good for your skin and your liver. But so when gin wasn't so great, but it was something you could make in your bathtub, you added a lot more vermouth and other liqueurs and things like that to make it not taste like garbage bath water. And then after Prohibition, when the quality of the gin being produced, once it became legal again, was gradually getting better and better, then the vermouth started pulling back. So the gin was like, I don't need you now. And then coincidentally, the more dry vermouth you use, the less dry it is. See how that makes sense?
No.
No, not at all. No. A drier martini has less dry vermouth. There's one fella who was quoted as saying, when it comes to the ratio of vermouth in their martini, one should fill a glass with gin, hold it up, and wave it in the general direction of Italy. And that's as much vermouth as should be involved. And I know Miss Ava Gardner, she was very particular about her gin martini and the vermouth involved, and I know you've got a fun little story about that.
Yeah, so really quick, I wanted to talk about an excerpt from Renee Jordan's book, who was Ava's lifelong friend and companion, but she started as her maid. So she tells a story in one of the early parts of her book about getting the job with Ava as a maid in the mid-40s. So I'm just going to read a quick little excerpt, and Renee always called Ava Miss G. So it says, Miss G asked if I knew how to make a martini. Not really, I said, gin and something. Vermouth, she says, a few drops. Just show the bottle to the gin. It's got to be bone dry. She wiped both rims with lemon. She sloshed gin into the jug full of ice and added the few drops and stirred the mixture around with her finger. Never touch it with metal, Renee. She poured 2 glasses, added a sliver of lemon. We sipped. Miss G asked if I could make those, and I replied, I sure could try. So she got the job.
I just love how she poured the gin into a jug with ice.
Yes.
And she got 2 martinis out of that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Ava was known to prefer her drink quite a bit. And she went from, I know you were talking, started with
Yes,
champagne.
she started out as a champagne drinker, as we all maybe sometimes do, as with wine as a gateway to harder alcohol because of the taste. When she was dating Mickey Rooney, she was a huge champagne drinker, and then that later transitioned into gin when she was married to Artie Shaw, who is the famous clarinetist and band leader. And then later she would drink whiskey on the rocks with Frank Sinatra, his obvious brand of choice being Jack Daniels.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Of course.
If I'm sitting with Jack Daniels or Frank Sinatra, I'll drink whatever
he serves me, absolutely.
Give me that bath water, Frank.
That's right.
Okay, so we've kind of gotten into how people prefer it. A little bit of the history. The martini history is elusive and sexy and sultry and enigmatic, just like Miss Ava Gardner was. But there's kind of two theories floating around. For the longest time, it was real popular that a bartender had made something that had kind of evolved from the martinIs in the Occidental Hotel in San Francisco. And that kind of lingered for a while, but then it kind of gotten to where maybe later in 1860s, in the 1880s to 1910-ish, it was kind of published that it had happened kind of in different ways all over. So I don't know that there's really one good story, but the cool thing about some of these elusive classic cocktails is, I mean, you can just kind of make a bunch of shit up, and as long as you do it with a flair and then drink it, the stories get better and better and better the more of them you have. But then absolutely the rise that the gin martini got that will never go away is in Ian Fleming's character James Bond, specifically in Diamonds Are Forever, where he prefers his gin martini shaken, not stirred. And this is kind of counterintuitive to how it's generally made. It's usually stirred and not shaken. And there are theories on that about bruising the gin. I don't know how much from a chemistry standpoint that is so much true, but definitely when you shake your gin martini or anything else, it's going to create those little bubbles and cloudiness, and that's going to give off the impression that it's got a lot more vermouth in it than it does. Any higher end cocktail place and you order a martini, they should know that it's going to be stirred and not shaken, but it is always best to speak your preference, and your bartender should always ask you, how would you like it? So when you're making them at home, get your bartender sleeve cuffs on and your bow tie and your beard, tattoo your neck if you can, and then say, how would you like your martini? So shall we make some gin martinis today?
Yes,
let's do it. So Ashby, I have kind of a fun idea for how we're gonna assemble our gin martinis.
Okay.
Figure I'll make it the way that you guys at home are gonna get the specs and the recipe and technique how to make it at home. But I thought it'd be fun if you join along and we do kind of a teacher-student. Oof, I don't know. If I don't know how much confidence I have in that. But you do it the way that Ava would want it.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of compare and contrast afterwards and see who's right or wrong.
Okay.
There is no right or wrong.
Mine's going to taste better.
All right, let's go. You've got that little secret trick, though. So let's start out. We're going to go with 3 ounces. Beefeater gin was Ava's favorite as far as gin goes. She was known widely to just drink it straight from a coffee cup. Once in a while, if she felt fancy, she'd make a martini and drink that also from a coffee cup. So we're going to pay homage to Ava and use Beefeater. So you're going to want to use 3 ounces of your gin into your mixing glass. Into your mixing glass. There you are.
Perfect.
And whereas I'm going to do about a bar spoon of this dry vermouth. It's kind of how I prefer it, and that's the way a lot of guests are comfortable with a bar spoon. If anything, I do up to 1/4 ounce. I'm going to add that to mine. And the way Miss Ava liked it, I think it's going to be more of like
just a little dash. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, just a bloop. Just a bloop. Ava does not say anything to, what was her name?
Rennie.
About bitters.
Nope.
So I don't want to offend the ghost of Ava.
We're not getting too fancy.
I'm going to do 1 dash of Regan's orange bitters. Some people prefer Angostura, but it's really kind of become standard that if you go to a nice cocktail bar, they're going to use just a dash of Regan's orange bitters. And then we're going to ice. And for you, my love. So when stirring, your spoon's going to go in your glass. And a popular way, a way that works well and doesn't just blow your wrist out, is you keep your ring finger to yourself. Man, if I'd have known that before that first marriage. Keep your ring finger to yourself. All the other fingers go on the outside. And then just by flicking, you can get the less noise you have. It's kind of a good indicator that you're doing it well.
Doing it. This is like how I was taught in cotillion to stir my tea.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Ah, was Ava there?
No, actually.
Oh.
Yes, she was my cotillion teacher.
She was. And you are so young looking.
Thank you.
So when stirring,
It's
you
the
want to
gin.
get dilution and chilling, but much more chilling than dilution. So if you're doing this fast stir, 19 seconds or maybe 30 full rotations. But if you're counting the rotations, you're not enjoying yourself and your guests. So give it like 15 to 20 seconds. Then you're going to take your julep strainer, ting, and you put it backwards in your mixing glass, and you hold it down with these fingers in your chilled glass, because you want your martini as cold as possible always. So put your glass in the freezer until you're ready to use it, or chill it with some ice water. You're going to pour it all in there. And the way is standard, unless your guest or your friends ask any other way, is to just do a lemon zest and then discard the lemon. But people may want a dirty martini, which you'd add a little olive brine, and then you may want to do an olive. Some people want cocktail onions. Some people used to do a cherry. That wasn't very long-lived, but you want your guests and your friends to have it how they like it. But if they don't specify, or you say you want me to make it the fancy way, and then that music plays in the background, then you just do a lemon twist, toss it. So we have the martini 2 ways, Ava's way and whoever invented its way. And we're gonna try a little sip. Ching ching. Cheers. That London dry gin comes right through. That gave me, oh wait, you didn't stir it with your finger. Man, this breaks so many personal secrets.
That's where the love comes from. I don't know.
I kind of like Ava's way.
Right? It's much
Maybe it's
cleaner.
that fame factor, but
Maybe coming through me,
let's
obviously.
drink 2 more and then decide.
Okay.
Okay. So we're gonna run off to my bathtub.
Yep.
And
Get some more gin.
Whip up some gin, and keep drinking these, and just get smarter and smarter.
Yep.
Yeah. There we go.
And if you're more interested in Ava, you can visit the Ava Gardner Museum in Johnston County, where Revival is.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's amazing.
I mean,
You can
it's
learn all about her
amazing.
life. You can learn all about her loves, and you can learn all about her love of cocktails too.
Some of her original outfits are in there, and you can do like me and try to touch them, but then they'll kick you out. So,
But then get arrested.
so
Yeah.
don't do it. Yeah, but definitely visit, and thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Ashby,
Thanks for having
coming.
me.
Yeah, let's ching ching. again
It's
and
always
keep
a good
drinking.
time hanging out with you guys at Revival.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for joining us for Gin Martinis with Ava Gardner, Ashby, and myself, Crazy Dave back there. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for today's episode. Big round of applause for Miss Ashby Brame. And I hope you enjoyed kind of some of our fun takes on Gin Martini. One of the things that helped make them as luxurious as they are these awesome products that we have from Barfly. It's what we use exclusively in our bar, and we highly recommend them. They are absolutely top of the line, top quality products. You can find them in the links below. And if you liked everything that you saw here today, please like and subscribe to our channel. And just have a just fantastic gin day, and join us for some other stuff. Yes, Mike will be back, but today you got the lovely ladies.
Really?
So, yeah.
Really?
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.